Hey YouTube, Mike here. How are we doing today? I hope you all had a very safe and productive week. I know I did. So today I need a box. I need a box to carry my modeling tools, paints, bits and pieces back and forth to that game store that my son and I go to. I try toolboxes, I try totes, I even tried a gun bag. I'm never happy with toolboxes or tool bags. I've always been happy with the altering slot car boxes that I have made for many, many years and made thousands of them. So basically today we're going to be building a variation of what I always loved to build, and those were the wood slot car boxes. So again, I don't use SketchUp, I use Paper Up. Basically it's going to be a rectangle roughly about 12.5 inches wide by 8 inches deep by 10 inches high. It's going to incorporate 4 drawers, and then I'm going to do 2 doors. The bottom drawer will be big enough to take the 1-inch Kaizen foam, so I can put my nippers and knives and scrapers and files. Then the middle 2 drawers will be the small little Citadel paints, which are about 1.25 inches high. And then the top drawer will be the made-up difference of about, it's going to be roughly about 2 inches, 1.75 inches, and that's going to get basing material and other glue. Then there'll be 2 doors that will have shelves on them that my glues and CAs and accelerators will go in there. I'll put a nice little briefcase handle on the top, maybe some brass corner pieces. I'm undecided whether I'm going to drill 1-inch holes to pull the drawers out or if I'm going to do double little brass knobs. We're going to see as we go along. So let's start the build. Normally these things I never built like production ones. There's a lot of guys out there that were building production ones where they were selling them to tracks. I did. I sold it to my own track. I sold it to tracks all around the world. I built 5 or 6 of them, put them in a big box, or pack them up in 2 different boxes and mail them out to them. My specialty was custom boxes for one guy. One individual guy that I would talk to on the phone or go through an email. He'd give me a basic sketch. I'd send him a sketch back. What I think he wanted, he approved it, he paid for it, I'd build it, send it out to him. So let's build a variation of the slot car box. Little shop safety, safety glasses. I wear mine all the time. Actually, I'm wearing new glasses that I just got. And hearing protection. All right, and again, if you feel tired while you're in the shop, stop. There's always tomorrow. It's not worth getting hurt. Okay, YouTube, let's make a little sawdust. Alright, let me get this in focus here. I like the grain on the boxes to actually go up, go across, and down even through the bottom. Now, what I like to do is, since I'm going to be making doors, my doors are usually 1.5 inches. So I cut these 9 3/4. It's going to be, excuse me, 8 inches. So now I'm going to go on the table saw and I'm going to rip these to 8 inches. I'm going to rip these to 10 inches. And what it's going to give me is it's going to give me the frame of the door. I'll put the whole frame of the door together, put the front on it, so I'll make like a small 1.5 inch rectangle. Then I'll bring it to the table saw on the miter sled and cut it directly in half. The key for the blade will give me the distance to make the door close nice. Okay, so let me just orient myself here and just double check. Let me make a little mark so I know that I'm going to be doing it 8 inches. And this one here, yeah, this is 8 inches. And this here is also 8 inches. So I'm going to be doing it on that. This and that. Okay. So let's get back over here to the table saw. All right. So now we have 2.5 inch pieces that are 12.5, 2 that are 10, then my sides, and then my top. So basically, boom, boom, like so. Now I got the router set up because I'm going to be doing a rabbet in the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to be doing grooves, 1/4 inch grooves, 1/2 inch rabbets, 1/4 inch grooves. So I'm going to pause. We're going to set up the router. I'm going to get back to making some more sawdust. All right, YouTube. No, the garage is not on fire. God forbid. It's my cigar. All right, got the router set up for the 1/2 inch rabbet. I have tested it. It's always good. Just take a scrap piece of wood and test your whether it would be a mortise, whether it be a rabbet. I actually have marks on the table saw. Table saw router, because with these boxes there were always 2 rabbets down at the bottom. It didn't matter what the side of the boxes were because it's going to be the side that I rabbet. So it never mattered what it was, whether it would be 12 inches, 14, 24 inches, whatever. It was always down at the bottom and the top, so you just flip it. Always test it. I don't even trust the mark. I always test it. Okay? So let's make the first 2 rabbets. Let me find my earphones. Roll in. Styrofoam sanding blocks, pre-adhesive 100 grit sandpaper, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. I can now do a nice sanding on the inside. You just got to pull it just a little bit. You're just going to clean out all the little hairs so you get a nice fit. Can you see that? That's it. See? It's foam rubber. Woodcraft is a Rockler. I think I got them from. I think I got them from Woodcrafters. I have up to 3/4, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4. I also, because you know I love tools. Let me show you here. I also did it on a piece of 1/2 inch, piece of 3/4, and then I made this a sanding block. It's got cork on the bottom. The pre-stick will stick on it. See, I made a little handle, and now I can sand the face of it like this. These I like to do it by hand. I will use the cordless Festool, but I always love to do it by hand. See, here's the 3/4 one. I mark them. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is actually 13/16 plywood that Home Depot sells, the off size. Here's my 3/4, 13/16, 1/2 inch block, and there's a 3/8 in there. I'm not going to bore you with it. Okay, I have this laid out for 2 inch, 2 inch, 2 inch, and roughly about a 3 1/4. Let me just make sure we're in focus here. All right. Okay, what I like to do is I lay out the marks on the top so I can center where the piece is going to be, and then I put an arrow to feed, so I know that I'll do one side the other, move the fence one side the other, flip it, yada yada yada. You get what I'm going at, right? Always oil your tools, 2 drops. Okay, I put an F on what I want as the front. So when I'm putting it together, this will be the bottom. So it's got a little knot in it. That looks pretty. So there. I always double check again. Make sure, because once you glue it and nail it in, you bought it. All right. Let me get everything set up, and we'll start the assembly. All right. Let's get a little assembly here. Let me double check to make sure that the F's are correct. Yep. Then I lay them down. I lay everything down the way I want it. I got my squares. I made the mistake quite a few times. I always like to double check it, triple and quadruple check it. Make sure it's right where I want it. I'll straighten it up before I put the back on it. The back is going to be 1/4 inch, and the front on the doors will be 1/2 inch. And I have enough that I have to be able to there we go. Fuck up already. I'll fix that later. See, that's what happens when you don't watch what you're doing. This is good. Now, did you notice that? Did you notice that on the table saw? I set my drill press back 30 inches. Now, when it's of course a bigger sheet, I move the drill press out, but I know I could take a 2-foot by 4-foot piece and push it across and not hit I don't have to move the drill press. But I really do wish I had a bigger shop. All right, let's get back over here. Now, we don't want nails down where the grooves are, because then, and I have done it. I have done it many times. So, I'm basically just going to put a mark. And just do both sides. Remember, you're going to sand it, whatever you make it. Made a lot of gun boxes. So, now I made a mark. I'm going to do the top and bottom first, and then I'll come back with the individual ones down. Now I'm only going to do a little bit in between. So it's a pain in the neck. When you get glue in that track, squeeze out and try to clean that glue out so that your drawer will slide. A real pain in the neck. Again, I have done it. Bravissimo. Then go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. All right, let's get some clamps on this. Totes. get the back trimmed, nice and flush. Grab some Festool clamps here. Clamp this down. I don't know if anybody ever lets me do this. One of my first videos, the new trick, male and female. I have two cords. One is, memory does not serve me right, but what is this one? 13. I forget what this one was. One is a 15 amp cord, and one is a 20 amp cord. I can't remember what the numbers were. 18. One is 16 and one is an 18. So I have the male end on two of them, and then all of the other tools that I have it is a female end, and basically you place these in and you turn. To release, you pull and you flip it out. So now you don't have a mess of cord inside of your box. Plug this. Oh, the dropsies today. Plug this baby in. This is just a light sanding. I'm going to fill all the holes. Alright, we're back. Alright, we're going to, let's start up the doors. I cut up a bunch of 1.5 inch pieces. I tried to do a 2-inch, but I think it was a little bit too big. I don't want, because it's going to be like glue bottle, CAE, accelerator, like white glue and stuff in there. I got the little bottles of stuff. So they'll be flopping around, so I went with 1.5 inches. I just tested it to see how much more, and I think it'll work fine. Alright, let's get back to the table saw. We'll cut one more piece, and then we'll start doing the assembly. Right, so now we gotta make 2 doors. I already pre-cut the front, picked out a nice, and I like the front for the grain to go up and down. So this will be the front, and the reason that the front is 1/2 inch opposed to being the 1/4 inch is that I'm going to put one of those lever locks or a hook lock on it, and they have like 1/2 inch screws. So between the thin metal and then the 1/2 inch plywood, it won't come through the back. If not, you got to either grind it down or put a backer piece in there. And then on the side here, I have different hinges. Butterfly, I got a bunch of different hinges. We'll figure out what we're going to put on later. So, first thing I need to cut is 2 pieces, 12 and 7/8. 12 and 7/8. All right. Let's get the earmuffs on. Hold on. I am so happy. 12-volt rivet gun. As soon as it was released, I tried to order it. I mean, it must have been like gold. Everybody was out of stock. I show up at the Home Depot this morning. They got like 3 or 4 of them in, but the manager knew to put this on the side for me. And when I walked in this morning, he goes, "I got you a birthday present." I paid for it. They didn't give it to me. But, wow, this is going to help us so much when we do the big diameter flute pipe, because we rivet it. And we were doing it with a hand rivet. It's like 6 rivets per piece of flute pipe. This thing's going to really help. So cool. You rivet it, you turn it, the back piece drops into here. You take this off, you dump it out. So cool. It's the 12 volt. It's got the wrench to change the bit, and then it's got the other for the different sizes. It was like a birthday today. Okay, let's lay this out now. So, these 2 need to go here, like that. Nope, that's not it. This is it. And that one goes there. That one goes there. That one goes there. This one goes here. And these 2 go in the middle. So, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that, and we'll do that. And we'll get rid of this one before I end up nailing it. Now countersunk hole in the center, just for a screw. The glue, and then over the center of this, I will put one of those felt little round feet, put on the bottom of a chair. Scoops. Hey YouTube, we're back. All right. While I was doing the doors, that's why I always kind of look up at the camera, make sure I'm focused right, make sure I'm recording, and also make sure I didn't run out of battery and or space on the drive, which I ran out of space on the drive, so had to download and restart it. But we have, whatchamacallit, we have the doors done. I have one door already mounted and hinged. And now let's do the second one. The hardware for the box, I'm only using basic stuff. I'm just using basic 2.5-inch 3-hole hinges. And then a hasp like this, just with a little clasp on it, and this will be the top, the handle, which is basically you know, one of those briefcase handles, and maybe some corner pieces. Now the front of the door is a little overhang, and once I fit them, I'll take all the hardware off. I have them marked left and right, top and bottom. So basically I have a right and a left, and the markings indicate the top. So, all right, let's put these away. And let's mount some hinges. Look, I'm in now. Hey YouTube. Alright, we're back. Doors are done. They're all glued up and they're sitting on the side. I'm removed. I'll take the hinges off later. But alright, so basically now what we're going to do is we're going to build 4 drawers. And of course the bottom drawer has no groove. It's just going to slide on the bottom. That's where my tools are going. Then I already pre-cut one piece, and they're 12.5 by 8 inches. And each one will go into one of these 1/4-inch grooves. And I cut them just a hair shy of the front face frame, so that when, here is one of the fronts, right? So when one of the fronts go in, it'll sit back just a little shy of the front. And then I'll either decide I'm going to do 2 brass or just one 1-inch hole in the middle here for a finger hole to pull out. The bottom one's going to be a little hard because that's going to be filled with Kaizen foam. Okay, so each one fits in there nice. And what I do is I take Fast Cap's Fast Break, and I'll go down, I'll do all four sides, you know, but on the edges that are going into the grooves, I go a little extra to give it a nice, smooth finish, leaving a little room for expansion and contraction, and that's it. All right, so let's cut up a couple of these. I need two more, 12.5 by 8. 12.25. When you rush your measurements, and then the bottom one will be just a hair shy than 12. Now we're going to cut the 1/2-inch pieces for the front and the back. So this piece here will be for this, and we want to leave a little bit of a gap. You see here at the top? So that's for this. So for this one, we need 1 3/4 inches. And 1 3/4 inches. So I have enough. I have enough now. The 4 pieces, 4 foot. They should have plenty to give me. Should be able to give me a front. Should be able to give me a front, a back, and I may have to cut. I may end up doing the sides with 1/4 inch, but that's why I want to get the front and the back first. So I need 2 pieces a little shyer than 12 inches. So everything is going to be a little shy than 12 on everything. We do one at a time. All right, let's get over to the chop saw. And we'll, since we're going to be We'll do the first one, see how it turns out, and then we'll go on from there. So the first piece, so now we have the front and the back. And we know that the depth of this is 8 inches. Well, it's a hair more. It's like 8 and a 16th, or yeah, 8 and a 16th. So I'm going to make it 8 minus an inch for these two because it's a front and a back. Yeah, minus an inch. Actually, it's under an inch. So we'll make it 7, yeah, about 7 1/8. 7, we'll leave one back down like that, and we'll see how it fits. All right, I'll come back and when we got the pieces all done. All right, YouTube, we're back, and we're back with a little information. Wanted to trim up the doors a little bit better, and I loaded a 1/2 inch flush trimming bit in my Colt router. I don't know if you could see. This is what happens when you rush and you don't look on the side of the router where it says unlock and lock. Basically, I set it, eyed it up, turned it, and pushed it. Didn't hear the click. Locked it, proceeded to go around the box, and the thing dropped. So, that's what happens when you rush. Got to be building another door. So, hey, things happen. We make mistakes. We find out the mistake, and we share it. All right, got the sides of the drawers all done. Okay, got the drill press set up. Let me show you. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the carpenters and electricians and stuff. Local tool store sells these. All right, the CMT, the orange tool. They make all kinds of blades, from table saw blades, bandsaw blades, self feeders, arbors, sawzall blades, jigsaw blades, everything. Bought a couple of the hole saws, bought a couple of the blades to go through tile. Phenomenal. Just picked up the set. It was $99. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 13, 17-piece set. Goes from 1/4 inch to 2 1/8. Let's see how sharp they are on the drill press when we're making 1-inch holes. Wow. I know it's a brand new bit. Whoa, look at that. Both sides. All right, let's do the rest of them. up some drawers. Watch that circle. We'll come right up through the circle. Of course, got to sand it down a little bit on the sides. It'll fit in nice. There's the first one. Let's get all right, I'll continue with them, and I'll come back when they're all done. All right, we're back. Okay, we're gonna get the drawers in now. Got the bottom one nice and sanded, and of course we're gonna go over the whole thing with a couple of different grits. Okay, we want to get this right at the edge of the plywood and cement it in there. So, first thing I'm going to do is put this piece of wood back in there. I'm just going to take a little glue. Make sure I have and I used to make these for guys that do gun etching. I belong to a gun club and we do like a quick draw contest. Not me. I set up a booth and I had my gun boxes. I was making some gun cleaning boxes. So I had some gun etches. Say, hey, those things are nice. Can you make me ones with drawers? I was like, yeah, I can make it. I showed them a slot car box I had. They're like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but I need it with different partitions. The bottom one had like 14 partitions. Well, he gave me a padded. And then it went to like 8, 5, something like those, 6 and 4. And he put all his, and it was big. I mean, this thing was massive. And I put a false front on it that he can actually slide up and take out. He didn't want no doors on it. So I made him, I routed out, I made this longer and put dados in there and put a piece of like oak in it. And then the handle, and then with a handle in the front, he'd just slide the whole thing up. And then he'd open up his drawers and he'd get to whatever he needs. These things, you can make whatever you want. You can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. And it really was a nice thing. We put our slot car parts in here. Tires and gears and chassis. We used to make little partitions in there, whatever we need. So, alright, we'll make another door and then we'll finish up the trim and all the hinges. I'll see you in a little while. Alright, YouTube, we're back. We're back with the shelves on the door. Got the boxes done. All I gotta do is now I gotta fill the nail holes, do a final sanding, and just sand out the tracks a little bit more, and that's it. And here I did one door already, and that's how I've always built them. It's 1.5 inch space. This one here I just rely on a very tight fit in the glue. This one here is a shelf, and then I pin nail it through the side, and pin nail it, and then my glues and accelerant and PVA glue will all go in these doors. Alright, let's do this one. I already marked it out. I always like to make it center of the actual door. So I already laid out at 4.5 inches because it's 9-inch opening. A little glue. There's absolutely no weight at all on these. And these shelves are 1/4 inch smaller so that the pieces of 1/4 inch will lay flush. So I have this dead center. That's just to hold it in. The glue will do everything else. Okay, now all these boxes I always cut depending on how many shelves, but I never make the shelf bigger, the actual front of the shelf bigger than this little mite-saw box. As you can see, it's exact dimensions of the mite-saw box. They are smaller, but the biggest one will be as big as this mite-saw box. So my first one, and this is going to take up the 1/2 inch difference of the alright, inside the holes I'll either roll up a piece of sandpaper, let it, and then just work my way around, or let me grab this. I have a cordless Dremel that has a I have probably 200 grit drum, and I'll keep it at a low speed and basically just very easy, because this is a little bit more than 1/2 inch, the drum. so it fits in there nice. And then very easy, I just, no pressure, just take off the little fuzz that's in there. Just rotate it around, no pressure. Very smooth. Come on, feel it. Well, that's it. Now this one will have a Kaizen insert, and I'll cut out my tools. Then these two will have paint. They fit perfectly in here. I can get 25, well, I'll have 50 paints. And then this top one here will have my basing material and other little clamps and stuff that won't fit down here. And then I'll put that handle on top. And then I'll decide what I'll do to keep the doors closed. So that's that. All right. We'll come back when the box is all together and sanded.